welcome to our electrical system. It looks pretty complicated, but it's just built out of some simple building blocks. So just to explain it, so big starting point is our batteries. So we have two 100 amp hour Renogy lithium batteries. So combined, that gives us 200 amp hours. That should be plenty enough. And then everything here is either broken down into loads, so things that we're going to power, or basically supplies, which are going to charge our batteries. So to start over here, we've got our Smart Solar Charge Controller. So this is made by a company called Victron. It's very good. This basically, the energy from our solar panels feeds into this, and then this just turns it into usable energy for our batteries, so it makes it 14 volts or so. And then that goes straight to this positive bus bar, and the positive bus bar is where all of the charging sources meet together and combine. So the other charging source that we have is our B2B, and that uses the alternator and the starter battery of the car to charge the battery. So if we're ever in a place where there's not any sunlight or we're just not getting enough, we just drive around for a couple hours and the alternator will charge the battery. So all that supply power goes into this positive bus bar, and then the positive bus bar connects to our battery through this switch. So if we ever want to turn everything off, all I have to do is turn this switch off, which it's currently in the off position. So then the other half of it is our loads. So the loads are anything that's coming from our negative bus bar, because that's where the energy is going to be flowing through. So we have our 12 volt loads, which come through this fuse box here. The fuse box has 12 different connections, so we can power our fridge, our toilet, our lights, our max air fan, anything that's going to run off 12 volt DC. We also have an inverter that's just not shown right here, and that's going to be used with our 120 volt AC, or to power our 120 volt AC. Everything is, we're trying to do this as safe as possible, so everything has an electrical breaker or a fuse in case there's a short circuit. It'll protect the wires. So the fuses are shown here, or these are the breakers actually. So they're pretty cheap. You can buy them on Amazon, and they're resettable, so it's really nice. You can size them to whatever you want. We've sized them to be 40 amps, which is enough to protect the wires. So if there's a short circuit, the breakers will trip and it won't melt our wires. This right here is a battery monitor, so it just connects from the negative bus bar back to our battery, and that just tells us how full our battery is, so whether we're 100% or 50%. So I think we're ready to go now. So we've never turned this on, so here we go. Oh, one big thing before I do that, actually. The whole system should be grounded. So we have a massive ground wire right here that runs onto our van chassis. So this spot in particular, we chose because it's approved by Ford. There are particular spots that you're able to ground electrical equipment to. So there's just a channel in the van chassis right down here that we attached a bolt to, and we sanded off the paint first, so you can see the big wire connection right there. And then we just attached this large wire to the chassis via that point. So that's going to be our ground, and our whole system will have a common ground. Okay, so I think that's everything explained. We can go into more detail about wire sizes and everything later, but without further ado. Oh, I have to turn the batteries on first. Just realized that. So these batteries have an on-off switch that's just right here. So it's blue, and if I just hold this, that turns them on. Let me double check that this battery is now on. Yep, that battery's on as well. Okay, now I can turn this on. It works. We didn't die. So now I can close this. That's our fan. All right, now I'm going to turn the fan on. It works. Oh, that's so nice. So this is our electrical system. We're gonna have more loads, more things hooked up. Soon we'll have our inverter, our B2B, and we're excited to show you all that.